so let's talk about episode 10 of season 5. Khan and his father come back to the island, and Khan takes his time to address why the little Ankylosaurus is with them, and with a chip in her head, no less. Khan claims that the reason why is so that he can motivate Kenji's friends since they escaped. It's kind of like a collateral kind of situation going on. So Kenji's playing nice with his dad right now and says that he understands that it's just business. I think he's actually getting to understand exactly the kind of person that his father is and what's important to him.
I shouldn't have to remind you that these assets are important, which means you should stop anything or anyone that gets in the way of protecting them.
Are they now? You know, I find this very interesting that somebody who puts such importance and value on these very expensive assets are willing to have the investors battle them to the death. Khan wants their money, so maybe he's a little bit lenient with that, but I'm not going to pretend that the writing isn't a bit silly when it comes to that. At the time Khan was showing the investors the dinosaurs and letting them control the dinosaurs, they had not yet invested in them. They could have still walked away and not put any money at all towards the project whatsoever. So from a business standpoint, why would he allow them to let the dinosaurs battle like that? It just makes no sense. And in these last 3 episodes, Khan lets the investors and the twin guards get away with so much when it comes to these dinosaurs and what they do with them that it makes me wonder whether or not he actually even values them. What he says and how he acts does not match up with what he allows. Hell, even in the Jurassic Park movies, you can argue that the grown-ups are against shooting the dinosaurs and opting to tranquilize them even though they're killing people because of how valuable they are. Not every dinosaur comes out the right way, as we saw in Jurassic Park 3. There's a lot of trial and error to get a dinosaur to come out exactly the way they want it. Not just with the physical features, but also the type of personality traits that they want. So then we have Ben, Brooke, Darius, Yaz, and Sammy all running after Ben because he's absolutely dismayed over seeing what has happened with Bumpy. Understandably, I would be too. Tell me why in the midst of all of this that this is the time that Yaz and Sammy choose to flirt while they're mid-run.
Yes, why are you running so slow? Guess I just wanted to be next to you.
Vai tomar no cu, bota uma dentadura no cu e ri pro caralho e vai pra puta!
So she's a serial killer.
I know y'all are in the honeymoon stage, but come on, that's a little cute, but a little silly too. Like, it's one of those situations where you're like, oh my god, he likes me or she likes me so much, it's so hot, oh my god, I got butterflies. But then in like a real world scenario, you'd probably think that that person wants to like wear your skin. I hope it's not one of those people who's just like uber clingy before you really get to know someone. What if they get off the island, right? And Sammy, like, this is probably her first girlfriend, we don't know that. And then she meets some other girl, because she's obviously like kind of shallow, sort of. And she meets some other girl, it's like, okay, this girl's banging. And then Yaz shows up. Sammy goes, you know, to have lunch or whatever, and then Yaz is like into backseat of her car hiding. She's like, oh, I just wanted to be close to you. I didn't want to let you out of my sight. Sammy's like, bitch, so you know we don't have to be with each other like 24/7. I don't know why Yaz gives me those vibes. Yaz gives me those vibes like this is the first time she's actually been in love with someone. And she's like me when I had an official relationship where I was in love with someone and I ended up scaring them away because I was just too much. You like legitimately have those feelings, but maybe not say like I love you 2 days after you guys start dating. You know what I mean? Like it's cringe. Oh god. Yeah, I learned real fast. Like yeah, not healthy.
Find her? No, but I found Kenji and his new best friend.
Hawks?
Mr. Khan is exactly the type of guy who would work with a jerk like Hawks.
Yeah, but who expected Kenji to be?
You, fuck off out of here!
Me!
Get out! Hey, excuse me, madam!
Pressure.
Fuck me! How about fuck you? I'm done! Fuck off! Out! Get out! Get out!
Seriously, this is the part that just annoys me to no end. They catch up to Kenji and see him standing out there with that Hawks guy, right? And that is their reaction. Oh my god, are they freaking insane? Isn't this the girl who is also telling her friends that Kenji was being massively influenced by his father? I mean, yes, Kenji is old enough to take some responsibility for how he behaves, and I can understand if he was acting like that with a complete stranger. But this is his literal father Sorry, I'm trying to get too mad here because it's just annoying. They're just little cartoon characters, or not even real, but like I'm invested, okay? This is his father, his flesh and blood, who took care of him and takes care of him actively and has control over every aspect of his freaking life. Again, as I said in my previous video, nobody batted an eye when Darius was cozying up to Cash. Nobody doubted May for a second when she was working with Khan, and even when she was really mean to them. What did Brooklyn say? Oh, he must have something on her. Let me find the clip because maybe you guys don't remember.
Then, if you can't get Firecracker under control, you should just put her back in the nursery pen.
What? May, how could you say that?
Doctor's orders. I don't have time to discuss it. Now please go. I have important work to do.
May was acting weird, right? If you can't get her under control, you should put her back in the nursery pen.
It just doesn't sound like May. I mean, maybe she was trying to tell us to check out the nursery.
We gotta get in there and help May.
We can't just storm. Ben and I found out that your dad freed Cash and has May working with him to perfect dino control.
We still need to help May and stop Mr. Khan.
Mr. Khan is clearly the bad guy here. He's been manipulating Kenji this whole time.
At least we know May's okay.
Why is she there? What does he have on her?
I gave Malina.
See, all those clips were examples of how not 1 second, I know you could say, oh, well, that's after, you know, they already talked to me and she was helping them. You don't know if she was doing it for her own benefit, just like Khan was. And before that point, they never once doubted her. Never once doubted Darius, nothing. And then for Kenji, I mean, it never crosses your mind that your best friend who risked his life to save you might be in the same situation? Holy octopus twat on a Texas bison farm. I swear to God, the only character I really like right now is Kenji and Ben, or characters. You've known Kenji longer than you've known May. And you didn't doubt her for a second, but you doubt the person who put his life on the line for each of you multiple times. What the hell is that? It's like the logic of these characters just went through the window, and they're as stupid as the adult characters are in the movies. So, I don't know, that part just So anyway, Khan comes out, and to Darius and his friends, he doesn't look that much upset, at least not to them. And it seems as though he actually has a backup plan and says it out very freaking loud. Like he thinks the kids are listening, that the flash drive for the backup is hidden inside one of the Brad X robots. And he leaves his son, Kenji, to guard the assets and the twins because he doesn't totally trust those guards.
Chips are the priority, but these dinosaurs need to be in perfect condition for Dodgson.
Okay. I mean, you mean like the Carnotaurus who's fried to a crisp? You mean like the little Ankylosaurus with the asymmetrical horn? I find it interesting how Khan is always contradicting himself with what he thinks or finds important. Of course, Ben sees all of this and decides to follow Kenji, hoping that he'll lead into Bumpy and tell the others to get the flash drive. And it makes sense because there are a lot of Brad X robots, so they will need all of them to spread out and look. Yaz and Sammy, they're happy that they're a couple, but Sammy feels guilty because Darius and Brooklyn are upset about Kenji. Meanwhile, they're happy and they just don't want to rub it or their relationship in their friends' faces. So they try to keep the PDA stuff to a minimum.
Maybe we put a lid on it, just until our friends don't feel quite so awful.
You've got a big heart, Sammy.
The way that Yaz always looked at Sammy, I believed that, you know, she actually could like Sammy. I just never got that same feeling from Sammy. Call me crazy. Would have been way more interesting and even, dare I say it, more realistic if somebody liked somebody who didn't exactly like them back. At least not right away, because that's actually what happens in real life situations. I would have loved to have been in Yaz's shoes, or at least proxy, you know, through the character. When you like someone and then the person's like, ooh, so I don't like you that way. We're just friends. And then Yaz has to sit there being all awkward. And I guess they didn't want to make it about that, but they already went down this road with a romantic angle. So I know people said that they were giving signs like, oh, they were friends from a while back, but they were always showing interest in each other. No, there's a difference between platonic friendship and people who actually like each other. It never started being really obvious until the last 4 episodes of season 5. Let's be serious. Unless I'm really clueless. I mean, I guess you could find things in everything, but it sounds kind of like those people who were like, oh my god, somebody brought me dinner today, he must want to screw me. Like, no. Sometimes people are just nice to you because they're your friends. It doesn't always mean that they want to screw you or have a relationship with you. That's why I said it feels forced. Yaz, I believe. Don't totally believe Sammy. And I would have liked it if they kind of, you know, made it feel a little bit more natural and like build up to it, where Sammy wasn't sure what her feelings were. And then she was like, you know what? As a payoff, near the end, she's like, I just realized that I would rather have you in my life than not have you at all. And then we do all that mushy stuff that they did with Brooklyn and Kenji, and they do end up together after all. Or don't, I don't know. So Kana's actually mad because he figured out they changed the password. And when Ben finds where Kenji and the others are, he rails on Kenji, and it's actually pretty cool because Ben feels so human in this moment.
I'm coming for you.
What's the plan?
You let your dad mind control Bumpy! How could you? Why should I believe you?
Hell no.
So that part right there felt very real. They feel like real people. It was very well done. I will give them credit for that. Okay, let's get off this scene. Kenji says that if it's the last thing he does, he will help Ben get back Bumpy. He says he doesn't expect him to forgive him, but if it helps, he is really sorry. And you can tell Kenji really means this. Meanwhile, Yaz and Sammy make up a code to tell each other they like each other.
Super intricate, but I'm here for it.
That means I like you a lot. Meanwhile, the men are tailing the friends. So as toasty as Toro looks, he's a really nice looking specimen. Kenji distracts the guards and tells them to go look at something. And this is the heartbreaking scene where Ben goes over to Bumpy and he realizes that she cannot move. And no matter what he does, having not seen her for all this time, she will not follow him because she physically can't. She's literally just standing there and she's unable to move because she's under control of the chip. She must want to tell Ben or show him how much she loves him. And honestly, I really feel for Ben. This part is so sad. The music that they play here, it is such a great scene.
It's Ben. Oh. Yeesh.
Kenji comes later and he gives Ben the controller and says, bro, take the controller. It's the only way to move her. And this idiot is like, no, I will not control Bumpy. No. Excuse me. Oh my God. Okay, as much as I love animals, if my puppies were in that situation, someone did that to them, first of all, I'd be going to jail. Second of all, if my only option is to use the controller to get them out of that situation, guess who's going to be playing the controller?
Won't. I'm not controlling her.
It's the only option.
It isn't right.
It's not about what's right, you dumbass. Oh my God, Ben. I love Ben, but Jesus Christ. You'd think with someone so logical and who survived as much as he did, that he would at least have the cognizance to know that those guards are gonna come back anytime soon. And Bumpy's life means more to me, or more, it should mean more to you, than your pride of not wanting to control her. It's not about you feeling upset, it's about saving Bumpy's life.
The only option.
It isn't right.
How else are you gonna move her?
Anyway, Bumpy does end up taking a step forward, but it turns out that the guard is back. Sammy and Yaz don't have to hide anymore. Ew, look at his face. Like, look at that. Yeah. And I don't understand. Like I said, the logic is just missing from some of these characters because you work for Mr. Khan. That is his son. And several times you try to clobber him and kill him, not thinking for 1 second that maybe the boss would have an issue with you pulverizing his only heir. Really, bro? And they're just ready to kill kids. Like, it's just so freaking weird. But I love this part because it shows Bumpy fighting the chip because of her love for Ben and doing everything in her power not to hit him. Kind of reminds me of the scene with Primal in season 1 with the Coven of the Damned. Fang was also fighting because she didn't want to be under control of that witch anymore. She wanted to help her human. Darius and his friends lose the guards by leading them to the Spinosaurus. Meanwhile, Ben and Kenji are friends again. Ben and Bumpy reunite properly, and Kenji had stepped on the controller, essentially saving Bumpy's life, who chases off the guards. The next part was very sweet because that's why I love Ben. He makes more sense out of everybody else.
I can't believe we did it.
Real friendship can't be broken.
Aw, see? See, Darius? Every time Spinosaurus is on scene, it always looks so kick-ass. I like how sometimes they're also controlling the dinosaurs and they're trying to actually kill the children, but then when they actually are in a situation where they can kill them, they don't. Khan still needs the children because he's like, well, they have the password, so it's useless without them. Ben and Kenji come back, and Ben says, yeah, Kenji helped me. The others are surprised of this, and now it's gonna get awkward. He explains to them how he felt about his father in episode 11, that he had an idea how he wanted to be, who his dad wanted him to be, and that he was wrong. And that's great, and everybody kind of forgives him because they understand, which I appreciate at least, except for Darius. Of course, Sammy tells him that she and Yaz are together. Darius is still very mad. He is the last person who should feel that way, you know, because you are the one who is willing to put the dinosaurs even above your friends and other human beings' lives. So I could see Darius becoming like a villain. I don't know why. There's some elements about him that makes him very villainy, like an obvious villain story. Like his brother, there's such a stark contrast between the two. His brother would be like the superhero, and Darius is like the stereotypical nerd he has this idea of what he thinks is right, and people don't exactly agree with it because he wants to do what's right. Kind of like Thanos, he becomes kind of an anti-hero, kind of villain type person. Kenji saved your life. Yeah, he said some hurtful things. All he said was, no, we're not family, because you're not. You're not blood relatives. His father here. You, of all people who lost your father, should understand that. He saved your life. And you're gonna get upset with him and stay mad at him when he came back and did the right thing in the end and is actively trying to help you. Mind you, while he already saved your life multiple times before. Okay, Darius, sure, why not? You freaking... Ugh, he just gets on my freaking nerves. He is so Littlefoot, it's not even funny. So now Kenji and his friends have to run for their lives, and they try to get the dinosaurs out of the watering hole. None of the dinosaurs want to move because they've made up their minds that they want to actually stay and fight. At least that's what Darius and his friends think. Man, they drink water for a long time. Were they just standing by the watering hole the entire time? Like these dinosaurs did not remember this watering hole was here? I mean, it was much smaller before, but I swear to goodness, it's so convenient to the plot that the dinosaurs will just stay in the same spot for hours, just drinking. So then comes the most exciting part about the show, and it's when the dinosaurs that are being controlled are against the other dinosaurs. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. This whole scene here, this segment, I know, trust me, I get it, but I keep reiterating, it was so much better than the shit we got in Dominion. Not only just because the substance, but the payoff felt like it was earned. I did not get that payoff with the Giganotosaurus at the end of Dominion. So we get, once again, this is so exciting, another rematch between the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex. But the guy is just like, look at this fight scene right here. And the two T-Rex going against each other. It's so freaking awesome. Why are you just roaring at him? Bite down on his leg or something. Jesus Christ, it's so annoying. I know that this is the kid version of Jurassic Park, but good grief. Can someone get bitten? Of all the times they've come into contact with these dinosaurs, every time the dinosaurs have them dead to rights, they never take a bite. They're just like, I'm gonna chew on you while you're running and try my hardest to catch you. You stopped. I've caught you. Roar. And then they just wait. For what reason? And I'm sorry, how is this guy keeping up with his Carnotaurus? Like, I know he's the one controlling him and stuff, but this just looks so ridiculous. It looks so dumb. They both look so freaking goofy. It's just a free-for-all brawl. And all the dinosaurs fighting. But you have scenes like this where the thing is just like, oh, I'm just gonna nip at you, but not actually try to bite you, which is, oh my God. Dawn tries to get Sammy to turn on her friends, which she doesn't. Again, the dinosaur stops and roars instead of trying to bite down. The fight scenes between the dinosaurs are amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. They're amazing. It was the best part about this entire series. But good grief, why do they even bother to have the kids in there if nothing is going to even happen to them? It's so infuriating. It makes me want to bang my head on the edge of my table. Like, that dinosaur had him, and you've shown that these people are trying to kill these kids for some stupid reason, but then when you have them right in front of you, you're just like, stomp, stomp, I'm gonna eat you now, roar, I'm gonna wait for a little while. I mean, come on, it's Land Before Time levels of annoyance the ways that they do this. Like, why do you do this? At least make it look as though they're actually going to get eaten. They have done this several times in the show. But the amount of times they just plot armor these kids and let you know that they're not really in danger really, really outweighs all the other times or the rare moments where you actually feel like they are. It's so stupid. Darius and Kenji make up and they successfully break all of the controllers, only to find out that Khan has the master controller, because of course he does. They should have remembered this from the investor party. Then what happens next is very, very sad, and I really started to cry here. It was so well done and very reminiscent of Jurassic Park 3. Big Edie is basically on her own and she's outmatched. I don't know where her daughter is, but she's by herself against all these dinosaurs. So shot for shot, not really, they'd use different angles, but this is basically the same outcome of what happened in Jurassic Park 3. Sadly, Big Edie dies. And this is the first time I actually felt like I was silent for a while and I was crying. I was like, no. And I'm like, did they really do that? Did they really make us fall in love with a character and then kill them off? That was so metal. Like, that is amazing that they even did that. They made us fall in love with this T-Rex and then just took her away and made us understand that, wow, the stakes are really freaking high. So everyone is broken about that, and just seeing little Edie looking at her mom dying slowly on the ground, it's just so freaking sad. And then the episode ends there. And then...
Just kidding.
After the kids are pursued by the velociraptors, and there's a Hunger Games situation going on, turns out, oh my god, surprise! Big Edie is fine. She had her neck broken, but she's not dead. She comes back with a vengeance and beats up the Spinosaurus. Oh my god, why did the fuck they do that? Why did they do that? When I first saw this scene, I was like, okay, little Edie, I was expecting the daughter to go back and get the Tyrannosaurus, the Spinosaurus as revenge for what happened to her mom. And then maybe if you want to, you can say, oh, the T-Rex gets healed later on, but they should have just had her killed. They should have just had her killed, because there were stakes then. Or have her recover slowly. But to have her regenerate from a fucking neck break, I'm sorry. Can somebody explain to me how that happened? The dinosaur had her neck cracked or broken. She was dying. Did they forget that? Then she comes pirouling through like a freaking military tank, running at full speed with full strength, able to fight this Spinosaurus with a neck, using her neck and head like nothing happened to it only moments before. And like I said, I love the show. I love it, and the last episode was one of the best episodes, but good god, they ruined it. They ruined it when they did this. Even though it's cute, it would have been better if they had used little Edie, the daughter, because there's a motive there. Just like Blue the Velociraptor in Jurassic World, when she comes to face off the Indominus Rex. Remember that scene when she's running? That scene was loads better because you could feel it when Blue was attacking Indy that she was mad like hell. Indy had just killed all 3 of her sisters, the only family Blue ever knew. So she was running at her and screaming after she'd been knocked unconscious. There was motive there for Blue to actively attack this creature that almost killed her as well. And having Big Edie come up, like, why did they even do this? I don't understand who was responsible for writing this, but it was ass. You should not have used Big Edie. She was fucking dying. Her neck was broken. You did the whole thing with the sound effect where the Spinosaurus bit down on her neck went crack, her pupils dilated, and she went slack-jawed. That's usually what happens when a creature has its neck broken. How do you explain that? They just retconned it in the very next episode? What the fuck? Anyway, Big Edie ends up eating Hawk, and that's when daughter and mommy team up, which, you know, and that's how they meet the Spinosaurus, and I'm just like, bro, what? You just ruined it. You ruined everything. It would have been such a fantastic and poignant scene had little Edie, even if you wanted to do it like that, have little Edie come back, right, out of revenge. You know, this is how good writing actually works. Have little Edie come back and try to save her mom, and then she's winning against the Spinosaurus because she's angry, and then the Spinosaurus starts to beat her, and then Big Edie, her mother, who was the one who was dying, comes limping back into the arena because now there's motivation for her to not die, to protect her daughter, and they actually team up and work together to send the Spinosaurus running off. That's what you should have done. That's what masterful writing would be. You know, and I can't even say masterful because it's just, I'm not an expert, but that's like common sense. What, like, I didn't even know, dude. I don't even know. Anyway, Khan figures out that the island is, the core is going, and they all figure out that it's the chips that are drawing too much power. Khan tells Kenji to come with him, you know, because if anyone found out he was responsible, you know, something bad would happen. And Kenji's like, you know, you're not gonna leave us here, Dad. Like, you know, you can't just leave. And he confronts him and says it's all business with you. And then Kenji realizes this moment, or as first to face, that you don't actually care about me. How long were you looking for me before you gave up? Which was something I was thinking, because when they first ran into Kenji's father, he was controlling the Brad X's or doing whatever. He didn't look broken up about his son. He didn't look as though he had been looking for his son. Why was he still on the island to begin with? I mean, I guess because you're like, oh, he was looking for them. You could argue that, but it looked like he was just working. Call me crazy. His father tells him to get on the plane. He says, no, I'm going back with my real family. And you know what his father does? He leaves. He's like, all right, deuces. Have them pay your bills now. Good luck with that. And it's messed up because there are parents that are like that. There are parents that are like that. But his father didn't think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you left your son on an island that is about to go nuclear. I mean, not nuclear, but you know what I mean? It's about to pop, and you left him there. I mean, you can't make him go on the plane, but if you really loved him, you would force him to get on the plane. And he didn't. He's like, all right, you're a man now, make your own decisions. Because Brooke is a hacker, she ends up fixing everything, you know, because plot. Dinosaurs are freed from the chips. And the counselors come to the island, and this is where Brand and Darius see each other. Aww. The part was so cute seeing Darius run to his brother, because they haven't seen each other since everything happened. And see, Brand, his brother, went to go look for him.
Darius? Darius! Brand!
As they're heading back to the mainland, Kenji is just broken. He must feel so confused, but at least he and Brooke have made up, and I will respect that Brooke didn't stay mad at him. Like, she's human, and she was angry with him at first, you know, because he did all that stuff, even though it made no freaking sense, because you didn't give him any allowance whatsoever, knowing what you know about him. But I think that just goes to show that she's human as well, and many people can even make the mistake of misjudging others. Please, I've had it happen to me so many times, where people who know me and know what I stand for will still just turn on me. And it's like, what in the world? It's usually a good way to weed out people though in your life, because if those people would quickly turn on you like that, or if you're having a bad day or something is obviously going on and they just target you, they're like, oh, you're evil now because you don't agree with us, then maybe there are people that don't need to be in your lives anyway. But I guess Darius, Brooke, and their friends have a lot more going for them in terms of what bonds them together because of what they've gone through. It's really cute to see everybody together. Darius is like, I'm the fifth wheel. And I wonder what was going to happen with Bumpy. Seeing them all go to their families. I was wondering why the mother, Darius's mother, didn't go to see him, but I think her son probably told her, no, Mom, I don't want to lose you too. Darius needs you. You can't go to the island, look for him, and then something happens to you, and you know? So he probably told his mom, as her son, stay here, I will go and bring my brother back. And it's so sweet seeing, you know, Darius just there with his mom. And then of course Sammy and Yaz are like, hey guys, we're boning because that's what's important right now. Like, honestly, I know they love each other and stuff, but if I had just met my parents again, that would not be on my first list of things to do as soon as I met them. Like, that wouldn't even be on my mind. My mind would be, oh my gosh, I miss you guys so much. And then I'd be like, okay, you know, by the way, I'm boning this guy. Or maybe they figured that was the best time to do it because everyone's in a good mood. So if they're like, okay, even if we're not supposed to be dating right now, I think our parents would be okay with it because, you know, it is, we survived for all that time with dinosaurs, so you can't give a shit. Can you imagine when their parents try to ground them? You have them talk back like, excuse me, mom and dad, I survived for like 4 to 6 months on an island full of dinosaurs who were trying to eat me every day. You can't say shit. Yeah, but you don't know how to pay them taxes though. Parents are fresh. Parents would just come back and you're like, oh, you did, you're right. So why don't you go out and get your own house and survive and continue doing that? It's really cute to see how Kenji got adopted by Darius, his mom. And now he has an actual family with brothers. I think it's really cool because he and Darius vibe so well. He is like a big brother to Darius. And then we see Darius giving a TED talk and he's all grown up. Look how cute he is. Oh, they're so adorable. I don't know what it is, but the models for the older people look a lot better than before. You can tell in his voice and the way he looks that he got older. Look at him looking like Will Smith. Kenji's hair though, oh my god. I don't know what it is, like, just seeing all of that, like, look at this. Kenji looks, it sounds funny, but he looks way more Japanese here. Like, you know how certain features, like, if you do your hair a certain way, or, like, if you straighten your hair, you look like a completely different ethnicity, or you wear your hair curlier, you look more of a different ethnicity. That's kind of the situation with Kenji. Like, he looked Japanese before. He, for me, with his spiky hair, looked more Korean, but now he looks more Japanese. I don't know how to explain it. Sammy and Yaz are together. Yaz is spending time with Sammy on her ranch. Ben is the biggest glow up. Like I said on my thing, someone needs to do a glow up video for these guys. From when they were younger to the midsection where most of the show takes place to when they're older. Because Ben, I think, is the one that looked the best. Because remember how Ben looked? I mean, you know, but what? Were his eyes always brown? His eyes look brown. Don't they look brown? They are brown with his Scooby Shaggy looking self. Hold on. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Ben's eyes were bluish grayish before. They've always been blue gray. And now they're freaking brown? I mean, I know there's some people, their eyes change color at certain points in the year. Like my hair changes color in the summer, but really? What happened to his eyes? Maybe he's wearing contacts, who knows? But why would you? Usually people wear contacts to a different color if they have a brown eye color and they want to make something more out there. I've never really seen people, unless they're trying to match their hair or something, change from having lighter color eyes to darker color eyes because they want something that pops. Or maybe it's just a mistake, or maybe it's an imposter and it's not really Ben. But he is looking so freaking like Scooby Shaggy. But I was so proud of him. Look at him. He's working with May and he's back on the island. Oh my god. Look at Darius. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. This was one of the wholesome parts of the show. The way they ended it. It was so beautiful. Seeing that they're all still friends. Brooke got her, you know, that journalism type haircut that everyone gets, and she says that there's something weird going on, and she says, have you guys heard of Lockwood Manor? So we know that that's tying in, or the Lockwood Estate rather, we know that that's tying into Fallen Kingdom. She says that the dinosaurs, and then she cuts off because we know that they're on the mainland, and then she says Kenji she'll call him tonight.
Will do.
I gotta go. Call you tonight, Kenji.
Why do you look at her like that? What? I'm sorry. What was that face? The face, though. What's going on, Kenji? So I have a feeling Kenji ain't gonna stay faithful. I just know it. You're on an island with someone, you know how Kenji was when he first started.
Hold on. Rich and famous? Oh, meant to be.
He was sweet on Brooke from the beginning because of her looks. Even Darius was sweet on Brooke. Everyone forgets this, but they were completely teasing the whole Brooke and Darius thing from early on. Did you see that? The way that Darius was just looking at Brooke, he's like, ooh, I could sit next to them. And then Kenji just cock blocks them and sits right between them because he liked Brooke. Like, that whole thing was going on. It was so freaking obvious. And with Kenji being as rich as he is, or was, he's a freaking playboy. It sounds like Brooke is always in her work doing her sleuth work. You think Kenji's gonna stay and wait for her? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Kenji is gonna get back into the real world and he's like, well, now that I have more than 3 viable women on the island or in my immediate space, having been tucked away for all those months, now there are so many girls now I can choose from. You really think he's gonna stay with Brooke? I highly doubt that, knowing Kenji's personality. Anyway, Kenji goes down for dinner and there's the old water in the glass stomping. And Darius looks out his window and he sees a Brachiosaurus roaming on the mainland. And then everything stops. And I think the show could actually stop there, to be honest. I mean, maybe technically they can be like, we can continue this, but why would they need to? It already ties in with everything else. And it would be so cool to see them older, but honestly, if they ended the show here, which it does feel like they're doing because they made a big show about the ending, I'd be totally fine with it. Camp Cretaceous was amazing. It had its faults. It had its faults. Yes, it did. But it was so much loads better than a lot of the newer Jurassic Park movies that we've gotten when it comes to substance. And not just, hey, let's throw dinosaurs at the screen and just, you know, because people just want to see dinosaurs, right? Nothing has to make sense. Just throw them at the screen and just rake in the money. Don't even work on the story or the dialogue. Characters were dumb in this as well, but at least the interactions between the characters felt more human and realistic, and the situations did as well. Except, you know, none of the kids got hurt after Yaz and Ben. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.